Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for asking my girlfriend to move out because she started a career as an influencer and stopped respecting my privacy? I've been living with my girlfriend for 2 years. At first, everything was great. We got along well, spent time together, and had a good balance between our personal lives and being a couple. But a few months ago, she started building a career as an influencer. At the beginning, it was just a fun hobby for her. Some pictures, a couple of videos, nothing over the top. I always supported her and was proud that she found something she enjoyed. However, things quickly spiraled out of control. Our apartment has turned into her personal studio. Every corner has to be perfectly curated for photos. Every room is a potential backdrop for her vlogs. When I come home tired from work, all I want is to relax. But immediately there's a camera in my face because she's filming content. Even our private conversations are often recorded without my prior consent. And then I find them posted in her videos. It got especially awkward when she posted part of a conversation where I shared something deeply personal, which I didn't expect to be made public. I tried talking to her about it, but she always brushes it off, saying I'm overreacting and that it's just part of her job, and I should be more understanding. Over time, this has started to wear me down. I feel like I no longer have any space in our home where I can just be myself without worrying about being filmed or photographed. A few days ago, after yet another incident where I came home and was caught on camera, I decided to have a serious conversation with her. I told her that I understand her influencer career is now an important part of her life, but for me, it's becoming too much. I suggested that maybe she should consider moving out, not because I want to break up with her, but because I need a private space where I don't feel constantly watched. She flipped out. She said I was selfish, that I wasn't supporting her career, and that I was trying to control her. She accused me of sabotaging her success instead of being proud of what she's achieved. Now, we're barely speaking, and I feel like my boundaries and needs aren't being respected at all. On one hand, I get that her job excites her, but on the other hand, am I really the asshole for just wanting some privacy and space in my own home? Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for speaking my mind to my wife's best friend? My wife has a close friend group that includes one guy. They have been friends for over 10 years. A long time ago, when she was still my GF, we broke up, and while we were broken up, they slept together. We ended up getting back together, got married and had kids, but her friend that she slept with was still her friend from a distance. She wanted to still be friends with him, so I tried being friends with him, but it's always in the back of my mind that they slept together. It's been over 5 years since they slept together, but this past weekend, for some reason when he was over at our house, I got really bad anxiety about the whole situation. The next day I decided to talk to her about it, but I don't think I approached her correctly about the situation. I told her that having him around reminds me that I'm not the only one that has slept with my wife. I told her I've been trying to be friends for the past couple years, but it's starting to bother me a lot. She is insistent that nothing is going on. I told her I know that. My point is the way I feel when certain people are around. I even called the guy and told him straight up, look man, I'm cool with you. We are friends, but I cannot let go of the past and what happened. It bothers me, and I am not comfortable with it. He said he totally understands what I am coming from and accepted what I said. But it turned out to be a whole weekend fight with my wife. She locked herself in the bathroom multiple times, left the house for car rides, yelled at me a lot, and called me insecure. It hurt me a lot that she called me insecure. I am a veteran that suffers from severe anxiety and depression. This whole situation hurt me really bad. It made me feel like I was not as important to her, and my feeling didn't matter. My appetite changed so much after our talk. On Saturday, I ate a banana around 6 p.m. On Sunday, I ate an apple around 3:30. We finally talked last night, and she understands me. She's just hurt that it's so sudden. He'd been trying to be friends for the past couple years, but that thought is always in the back of my head. I had my first meal last night around 7:30 p.m. Am I the bad person for speaking my mind? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for cutting ties with my mom and grandma after they lied about a COVID test and caused a COVID superspread at our wedding? Apologies in advance for a long post. I am really struggling emotionally to process and move past the events of the last 1.5 weeks surrounding our October 5th wedding. Not sure what I'm looking for other than a platform to just get this all out there, because it's weighing heavily on me and my heart is broken. We just got back from our honeymoon in Mexico, which we spent a year saving for, and which was ruined after we tested positive for COVID while on the trip as a result of decisions made by my mom and grandma, which I will detail below. About a year ago, my maternal grandma asked her cousin to officiate our wedding, without asking me first. This was someone with whom I had no relationship and had only met once prior. I had no desire for him to officiate our wedding, but went along with it because in our family, grandma gets what grandma wants, or there's hell to pay. In fact, if you cross her, she will cry in her room, post something nasty about you on Facebook, and then write you off until you apologize even if you've done nothing wrong. Spoilers. Fast forward to 1 week before our wedding. We learned that the cousin/our officiant and his wife had been exposed to COVID, and they were on their way to my grandma's house to stay for the week leading up to the wedding. My out-of-state parents and brother were staying there as well, and my dad and brother made the decision to get out of there to avoid getting sick and came to stay with my fiancé and me. We all voiced our concerns and made it clear to my mom and grandma that it was a bad idea to host people who had had a COVID exposure a few days before our wedding, and were met with the most pathetic display of immaturity and selfishness by my grandmother and mom. My grandma started crying and saying they would all boycott our wedding if we were that worried about COVID, which in 2024 is just a cold. Absolutely zero attempt was made to acknowledge our concerns about public health at our own event. For some additional backstory, my maternal grandmother has always acted this way, and all 4 of her children blindly give in to her antics, but especially my mom. And all of them have displayed an extremely frustrating denial of science, which has been gotten worse with the political conflict swirling in our family with the upcoming election. Anyway, my fiancé and I insisted that both our officiant and his wife take a COVID rapid test before we would allow them to come to the wedding. I contacted the venue and had a backup officiant lined up. I personally gave my mom 2 rapid tests and asked her make sure both the officiant and his wife tested negative on Friday morning, the day of the rehearsal dinner. My mom texted me, "The lepers are clean." I called her and asked point blank, "Mom, do you swear that both our officiant and his wife tested negative?" And she swore to me that they had. So I called the venue and canceled the backup officiant, and we went ahead with the wedding weekend. Everything went perfectly. Our wedding was everything I dreamed. The only tainted memories I will carry with me forever are the ones of my grandma acting cold and standoffish to me at our rehearsal dinner and the entire wedding day because I had the audacity to insult her. I'll never forget the way she treated me. Fast forward to the Monday after the wedding. We were headed to the airport to fly to Mexico for our honeymoon and caught wind from my mom that my grandma had come down with a cold. I told her to make sure she tests for COVID, as that would be the obvious assumption for anyone with 2 brain cells. We landed in Mexico, and we're just happy to be there to enjoy. Then all hell broke loose. We found out while in Mexico that my grandma had hosted my other grandparents, Dad's side, for dinner the night we left, while actively symptomatic, and they were both now COVID positive. Then the truth slowly started coming to light, and we learned that my mom had lied to me about our officiant and his wife both testing negative. Only our officiant had tested. His wife had the sniffles, and they knew if she tested positive I'd throw a wrench in their plans, so they just didn't test her. I got more upset than I've ever been in my life, and texted my mom that we were feeling completely betrayed, and that at the very least my grandma owes an apology to my dad's parents for getting them sick. In return, I got a screenshot from my brother, showing that my grandma had texted him, "Tell your sister when I die she can put 'selfish bitch who ruined my honeymoon' on my headstone." All in all, 26 people are sick. More than 1/3 of our guests. Some are very severely ill. My dad has it the worst. He called me last night to ask how to know it's time to go to the hospital for labored breathing. My mom is denying that she lied. My grandma is texting the entire family, trying to get them on her side. And I'm being told I'm overreacting because I'm brainwashed by the leftist media. I had a meltdown on our honeymoon and just sobbed into my new husband's lap for an hour. I don't know how to move past this, or whether I ever want to speak to my mom or grandma again. I feel like COVID aside, they chose to prioritize their own experience at the expense of nearly 30 other people, including us, the wedding couple. I will never forget this betrayal, and I just don't know what to do. I'm mourning the aftermath of my own wedding. You've sat down. You've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it going to be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.